Right, meeting's about to start. Look suitably interested.
Right, how are we doing? You all right, Anne-Marie?
Yeah, I'm just putting my ears in. Hang on. Where are we?
Nice photo, Andy. Are we going to see?
A long time ago that was. I haven't been in the water for ages. How are you doing?
Listen, it's raining and cold. Couldn't be better.
I know, I'm fed up with the weather already, but there we go. It's only the start of winter. It'll be fine. Hi, Anne-Marie.
You've been surfing today?
No, I haven't been in the water for a few weeks. I've been, last couple of weeks, I was flat as a pancake with something. I don't think it was the dreaded sea, and just bouncing back and in the office for an hour or so this morning with the gang and just, thought, right, I'll stay out of the water for a bit. And I don't know if it's something I've picked up in there or what, but it's all right. I'm fine now. So.
How are you doing, Anne-Marie? You're looking very busy. Can you hear us? You're muted, I think. Can you hear us?
When you get back on the phone, you might get a chance to. Anyway, it's up to you. I won't try and tell you what to do.
Hey, all right?
Oh. I can't hear you, Anne-Marie.
Our audio is broken on computer.
Oh, no.
That's disastrous. Are you sure it's not trying to go through? Sometimes you have to find the right speaker, I found. It's just bollocks.
Would it go with if you had put your phone thingy-majigs in? No.
You just don't want to talk, do you? Andy, can you do me a favour?
Yep.
Because obviously we will be, when people join us, there might be some questions and comments that come up in the chat. If I don't see anything, would you just sort of flag it up?
Yep.
Yeah, I think Anne-Marie, you're going to try and hoover up some of the comments and bits and pieces as well, aren't you? So I think Anne-Marie's going to be the chat monitor, and between us we can all chip in if we need to, can't we? I think probably. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that as well, but we'll be okay.
How many books?
Is it about 17 or something, Anne-Marie? Yeah. Oh, hi, Martin.
Hello. Not quite sure
Good view of your desk. That's good.
Let's try that. That looks better.
Oh, that's better. We can see up your nose now.
Splendid. Hello all.
Hi, Hamish.
Hiya.
Hello.
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 Oh, there. Hi, Phil.
Sorry, babe.
We've decided that rather than introductions, we're going to do like a Strictly Come Dancing. Everyone has to kind of come down into the music and wave at the camera.
Oh,
Very good.
nice.
I am joking.
I'm going to get my mankini on.
Please.
I'm wearing it, waist down. I'm just in my pants.
Nice. How is everyone?
Sorry, I'm writing down everyone's name.
Yeah, good, Phil. You been in the water today?
Yeah, it was rubbish. Missed it. Left it too late. Thought Plattsburgh on the high tide would be amazing, and it wasn't. It was rubbish.
Oh, shame. How big was it supposed to be? I didn't get down.
It was Hamish warned me because he had a rubbish surf. He told me it would clean up at high tide. He was lying.
Oh, shame.
Weren't you, Hamish?
Yeah.
It was poor.
Oh, what a shame. Hi, Robbie.
Yeah, never mind. First world problems.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, yeah. Oh, try and get that.
Right, shall we, where's Claire? Are you all set?
Hey,
Claire's
good.
always late to everything, even when she's at home.
All the best people are.
It's you're never late. You've always got something better to do.
Yeah.
Aha,
That's
there
right.
it is.
Oh, she's listening.
I am listening. Just finishing my PowerPoint, actually.
Ah.
I'm joking.
I don't believe you are joking.
Funny. Funny, I know. Yeah. How many have we got? I can't see.
13.
Great.
Cool. Shall we make a start? Everyone happy with that?
Hey, Jules.
Hi,
Hey,
Jules.
Jules. Hi, Jules.
Nice to see you all.
Yay.
Did you have a good surf today, Jules? We're just hearing from Phil about his surf, which is
this is
the
what
whole
it's
point
about.
of the meeting is to commiserate with him that it didn't go well.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Send our very best wishes for your next surf.
yeah, it was such a downer.
Right then, let's make a start. Hopefully
Okay.
everyone's got the agenda.
Do you want us to mute if we're not speaking and stuff?
Yeah, so sort of usual Zoom rules. If you mute or mute me if I'm talking too much. We've got the chat box going. Anne-Marie's going to kind of keep an eye on that. So do chip in if there's anything you want to kind of discuss. Jump in. It's obviously a small select group tonight, so keen to get everyone's input. So yeah, welcome everyone, and thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's only really through the amazing support of our community that we are able to keep going as Plastic Free North Devon. When you kind of think about this year, so many words have been thrown about: crazy, unprecedented, a write-off, and many people are doing that writing off this year. But I think, you know, for many of us, this has been a time of reflection and a time where we've really seen the value of community. And that's, for me, what Plastic Free North Devon is all about. It's about valuing our community, coming together to kind of protect and improve what we really care about. And I think we've seen so many people who've been disconnected, running all around the place, forced to stop and breathe and spend time in North Devon, who've actually really begun to realise the value of what we've got and why we work so hard to protect it. So, you know, as ever, I'm just kind of humbled by the work rate of the core members of the team, particularly Phil. You know, Phil's surfing is what keeps Plastic Free North Devon going. No, but I mean, being serious, just having a quick look on social media, Claire, Andy, Anne-Marie, obviously just the shining lights, just every day full of passion and moving us forward, which is fantastic. So I just, you know, even at this early stage, just want to say a huge thank you to you guys. Lynn, just behind the scenes, amazing kind of organizational skills and keeping us afloat financially. Thank you. Big thank you to our trustees and a massive welcome, and thank you to Hamish for joining our band and bringing enthusiasm, knowledge, and some really fresh ideas, which is fantastic. Yeah, so Claire's going to be talking later in detail about the projects and a bit more about the support from the community. It goes without saying that we're, as ever, enormously indebted to the Pickwell Foundation, not only for their financial support, but for their knowledge and enthusiasm as well. So that's kind of it from the welcome from me. Just sort of moving on to the legal or the kind of boring bit, as you could look at. we just need to go through some things, our statutory obligations. So first of all, brilliantly, there are no minutes because this is the first AGM, so that's done. And then we need to have a bit of an update from Lynn financially to see where we are and what we're doing. So Lynn, can I just sort of hand over to you at this stage?
Am I unmuted? Can you hear me? Yeah, cool. I think Anne-Marie sent out with the Zoom invite the accounts for the year. So so you should have received an income and expenditure and a balance sheet for the year. So our financial year finished on the 31st of March 2020. So it's just taking us up to there. It doesn't actually cover COVID. We were in pretty good shape at the end of the year last year. We'd had a great donation in from Turnstile Designs right at the end of our financial year. So the account's looking good shape with us carrying reserves forward of £15,000, but £5,000 of that was this donation that came in towards the end of the year, which obviously was for activities this summer. Obviously, due to COVID, some of that is still being carried forward at the moment. So yeah, if anybody's got any questions about the accounts, obviously it's best just to have a look at them. But if anybody's got any questions, do feel free to get in touch with me, and Claire and Anne-Marie can give you my contact details if you want to ask anything. But that's it for me, really.
Any sort of questions at this point for Lynn or Phil? Excellent. Okay, so appointment of charity trustees. So basically the trustees that we have are myself, Andrew, Lynn, and to confirm the appointment of Hamish, who joined us in February. I'm also, for various reasons, going to be stepping down. Right. I'm going to be stepping down as chair at this stage for various reasons. So we're going to need to have a little nomination for another chair, if that's okay. And hopefully we'll be able to ratify that. So at this stage, is everyone happy to ratify the trustees as they stand and to welcome Hamish onto the Board of Trustees? I'm looking for anybody who's not nodding their head. Excellent. Okay, do we, and I'm guessing there might be somebody, have any nominations for Chair of Trustees?
I'd like to nominate Hamish, please.
Hamish.
Hello, dear.
Yeah, I'll second that if you need a seconder.
I'll third him.
Mute.
Nice one. After
I was
today's
actually going to
office.
nominate Phil, actually. No, I'm only joking. Excellent. So Hamish, are you happy to take on that role? Okay, you were muted, but that looked affirmative, so I'll take that.
Yeah, I'd be delighted to. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. At this point, Hamish, did you just want to, anything you want to say just to introduce yourself? I don't know if you know everyone.
I don't, there's quite a few people I don't know. Yeah, I can say a little bit. I've been in North Devon for coming up for 7 years. And Lynn approached me about a year ago to see if I'd be interested in joining the trustees of Plastic Free North Devon, and was absolutely delighted to be asked. I've got a real passion for what we're doing and the natural world, the natural environment, and this is my first trusteeship. I have been involved in charities before. I work for an American engineering company, but like everybody else, I have worked from home. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Really looking forward to working with Claire and the team and getting involved a bit more than maybe I have done to date.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Hamish. And already I think you've added and brought a huge range of skills and a great fresh look at the organisation. So thank you. Okay, so what we're going to do now is hand over to Claire for our report, if that's okay. Still muted, Claire, at the moment.
You think I'd have got this sort of stuff by now? Oh, Anne-Marie, you've can you? I can't screen share, so you're going to need to allow me to screen share. You're right.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, okay. Oh, she got it. All right, sweet. Okay. I'm just gonna. Oh. Okay, we all got that?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay. Welcome everyone. Thanks for attending. It's so nice to see some new faces and some really old friendly faces. I noticed my best friend's mum, old best friend's mum in the crowd there. Hi Lee. Yeah, so I just want to say a massive thank you for coming to hear about what we've been up to and what our plans are for 2021. And I just want to start by, for those of you that actually don't know much about Plastic Free North Devon or quite new to our cause, I just wanted to kind of reaffirm our mission, to kind of just clarify what we're trying to do in our community. So that to protect and improve our environment through community-led action to combat plastic pollution. We aim to achieve this by helping people to recognise the relevance and the value of the environment to their lives, to see and experience firsthand the impact of plastic pollution on nature, and to support good choices in purchasing, use and disposal of plastic as we move to a more sustainable community throughout North Devon that recognises the results of consumption emissions. And we're aiming to do this by raising awareness of our fragile natural environment and how it's affected by plastic, reducing the consumption of single-use plastics right the way across North Devon, clearing it from our coasts and our waterways and our countryside and urban areas, trying to manage recycling and dispose of them in an appropriate way, and to increase our knowledge and capacity to stimulate change. And in a minute, I'll talk about how we're delivering that. But first of all, just to enable us to even think about delivering this mission, I just want to say a massive thank you to, like James just highlighting, some of the main supporters that have really given us a massive boost this year. Pickbar Foundation have been core funding us actually for the last 3 years. So Plastic Free North Devon actually, as a community group, has been running for just over 3 years. We would have had our anniversary about a month ago, and we've been a charity for just over a year. And yeah, Pickbar have been co-funding us for that long. And we've been really grateful for additional funding from the AONB on various projects. They're always giving us some support, and a kind of new kind of funder that's going to be funding us for a couple of years over the next few years is Turnstiles Design, who's a local business based in Barnstaple, and then Garfield and Weston, who have just given us a bit of a grant to boost our VR project for next year. And then the other thing that I'll talk about a bit more on that later is obviously we launched our business supporter club, which we were quite nervous about launching at the time. Plastic Free North Devon have never ever been very good at asking for money. We're terrible at it. We're very good at doing, but we kind of try and do things on nothing. And we quickly realized that we were getting burnt out, and actually to deliver the things to the standard that we wanted to, that we had to kind of get a bit more financial support behind us. And yeah, we launched our Business Supporter Club about a year ago. And the logos are on there of all the people that are supporting us at the moment, which is pretty phenomenal, all giving us between £20 and £40 a month, some of them a bit more, which is really helping to give us a bit more of a sustainable idea of what's coming in, so we can plan projects. And also, I think the reason that it's been so well received and why people have picked it up is because Plastic Free North Devon is a really regional focus. It's very much on the ground grassroots organisation that really delivers. And I think local businesses can really see that. They respect and appreciate what we're doing. We've got a good social kind of front-facing organisation, and we're well respected within the community and work really well with other organisations like the AONB and the Biosphere, of which we're both partnership members on as well. So this has gone down really well, and we really just want to say thank you to all those people that have chipped in that as well. And then just another two people that I really wanted to just raise a bit of a glass to, really, is these two. This is Mahi and Harley, who cycled from right the way across from Devon this year to raise money for us, and they raised £1,260, which is incredible. Yeah, over 2 days. Yeah, these guys are just incredible. And we met them on their way up here on their last stretch. We fed them cake and tea, and it was yeah, it was really inspiring. You know, they didn't have any, I'm sure that their mum didn't prompt them to raise money for us. But yeah, they had some really good ideas about why they were supporting us. And yeah, I actually did try and get them to do a little video for us, but their first couple of attempts didn't quite work and we couldn't download it. So here's just a picture instead. But yeah, so we're going to be hopefully trying to encourage a bit more fundraising as well, because it's been gone down pretty well. And so I'm going to divide the year into two, really, because when we look at our achievements over the last year, I think we can all agree that it's been two different sides of the coin. So the start of 2019 and into the beginning of 2020 was absolutely phenomenal. We saw growth in all areas across our work, and ever-growing numbers of people getting involved, and community groups, kind of businesses taking action. We had 650 hours, volunteer hours, dedicated to us through various projects and events. We launched a Plastic Free Ambassador program, which was a 10-week thing that went over the summer. We employed 2 people as well, gave them employment for the summer. They attended over 25 different locations, events, with a water bar and expedition stand, and they made use of our VR kit. They reckon that they spoke to about 2,500 people, and which was basically a 100% growth on 2018. And we saw loads of another 350 signups through our newsletter. So that was a really productive year through our ambassador program. Our holiday projects, which some of you might know about, but that's kind of educating, sending out information to people before they get there on holiday. So this was using B&Bs and accommodation providers to deliver that information. And we managed to recruit another 40 businesses last year. And in addition to the 60 we recruited in 2018. Which we think reached just over 100,000 visitors. Our plastic-free water bar last summer served over 3,800 litres of water, potentially saving 7,200 single-use plastic water bottles. And that was particularly well received. And one thing I think we've really been trying to focus on with Plastic Free North Devon is how do we give people the tools and the community to do the right thing? So how do we make it easy for people? And the water bar was just, and that's absolutely down to Andy, who's one of our trustees and kind of daily volunteers. He built that, and it was kind of his kind of little idea, and it's been absolutely phenomenal in terms of the reduction in single-use plastic that is aided. And then just onto events. So we attended about 53 events in 2019. And we also created plastic-free event toolkits, one for sports and one for general, which were widely distributed and adopted as standard practice by many event organisers, including the British Triathlon, that sent the guide to all their providers in 2019. So that was a really big win. And we looked to this summer, obviously, try and work with many more events across North Devon, but COVID kind of put a hold on that one. We delivered like 12 educational talks and workshops in primary and secondary schools throughout that time. And we organised 11 beach or street cleans involving over 1,000 people collecting over a ton of rubbish. And we made a film, which some of you might have seen, in 2019 as well, which we did actually have a few mini cinemas. So the Plough in Torrington was screening it, Kingsley School, their cinema, was screening it before films, which was pretty incredible, and it had an amazing reach on our social media. And here's just a few images just to kind of highlight those sort of things that we were doing in summer of 2019. VR kit. There's a little crew at the water bar in the middle. And this is our ambassador, Danny, who worked with us in the summer, who's now working in conservation in New Zealand. So now I'm just going to move on to our achievements through COVID-19. And this is, when I was writing this, I got a bit emotional. Because I'm really... Sorry.
It's all right, Claire. It's good to be emotional. It's been a really tough time, and I think you guys, you, Anne-Marie and Andy, have done amazingly well through it.
Yes, we were quite nervous about how we'd, well, obviously nervous about the families and the world and the pandemic, but also about how as a charity we would survive. Yeah, we kind of rose to the challenge, and I think because of the, obviously we had quite a lot of funding pulled, like Lynn said at the beginning, so we lost quite a bit. Oh my God, sorry, I did not expect this. I'm just gonna take a minute. Yeah, we lost a bit of funding, so it was all a bit scary. And yeah, we just kind of, I suppose, got put on our boxing glove and tackled it kind of head on and just thought about, okay, what do our community need? And we kind of really turned things on their head in terms of what we could do. And one of the things that we thought we would do, which some of you might have seen because we've just released it the last couple of days, is we had the idea to partner with several organisations across North Devon to do a survey to try and capture people's feelings and thoughts during COVID, because obviously there have been loads of positive outcomes during it. And we really wanted to not capitalise, but find out what people were actually thinking and to see what the future held for most of us. Because like James was saying at the beginning, it gave us all a little bit of time to reconnect with what we like and what we like doing and what makes us happy, and slowing down and appreciating the simple things, travelling less. And we really wanted to capture that because we knew that as we move forward into trying to build a more sustainable North Devon, that we needed the community kind of momentum behind us. And we thought this survey would prove it, or help to prove it, and at least give us some evidence for pushing projects forward as we go forward. So this is just a bit of a summary of our results. So yeah, during lockdown, 71% of people appreciated nature and wildlife more. They shopped more locally for goods, and 61% of people walked or cycled or reduced the traffic. And in the future, people would like to spend more time outside. So nearly 90% of people want to do that. Safer cycling was a massive thing that came up in the survey. I know lots of people were cycling and walking a lot more, and the roads obviously were safe because no cars were driving on, so we saw a massive increase in that. And I think people realised how close things were, and actually if there were safer cycling routes then they would do it more. So there's been a real push and evidence that we've got now to kind of really push for some of those routes in particular, especially between linking the beaches and other parts of the Tarka Trail between Barnstable and Ilfracombe. We also what else did we get? So just kind of focusing on the 96 people would like to see businesses and events to be working towards zero waste, which was a brilliant one, because actually as a group we've been trying really hard to work with businesses more to create tools and help them audit their businesses to create a more sustainable business. You know, I'm just trying to pick out, 92% of people prefer to shop at business, which would help the community reduce plastic. 89% of people intend to support initiatives that reduce single-use plastics. 87% of people intend to purchase goods more locally. So there were some really, really, really strong results. I think 808 people responded to the survey, which actually was a really good representation of North Devon. Unfortunately, because we only did it online, it doesn't count as a true representation because we weren't able to make sure that the survey was accessible to everyone, but still a really good result. it was an absolute labour of love, and I think Jenny from the AMB, if some of you know her, was my sidekick on this. She helped deliver it and build it and write the thing, and it probably should have been released a few more months ago than it was, but at least it's out there now, and it's for all the organisations to use as we go forward. The other thing that we're really proud to launch was our Protect Our Playground campaign, which really kind of encompasses what I think Plastic Free North Devon is about. It's about protecting and appreciating the nature that's right on our doorstep, and then giving people the tools to actually stop stuff, to protect the environment. And our wooden bodyboard campaign was something that we launched this summer. We did kind of quite a big, I suppose, launch, and I managed to get some kind of big names from the North Devon community: Andrew Cotty, big wave surfer, and Jenny Jones, who's a bronze gold medalist, and some of our kind of key funders joined us to launch the project. And this is being piloted at Saunderson, so this is bodyboard hire, to encourage people to hire wooden bodyboards instead of polystyrene bodyboards. Now, this was just a pilot, and the hope is that we're going to be rolling this out to at least 2 more locations next summer, and we'll be hoping to roll it out to even more, and hopefully try and gain a bit of funding to at some of the locations to be able to offer it free to people that maybe can't afford it, but we're just working out the kind of dynamics and how that might work at the moment. And then off the back of that, and actually the kind of I suppose reputation and respect that we've built up in the community the last couple of years, we thought we'd try our hand at a bit of lobbying, and we've teamed up with our kind of community partners over in Torridge to do that, and we've just asked one simple question, which is: should cheap, brightly printed, cloth-covered polystyrene bodyboards be removed from sale at every retailer across Northern Devon? And you guys, if you follow us on social media, will know that this was a response to the amount of bodyboards that we've been finding on our local beaches for the last couple of years, which have been collected and recycled by the Ocean Recovery Project. Now, just to give you a bit of an update on this one, so we launched an online poll, and we've got a group that we've got a private group that people join to vote, and we've got about 500 people voting for yes for that one. But then we've also got the North Devon news site who have joined as an official polling partner, and we've now got over 1,000 people voting for yes, about 20 people voting for no, and then some other really interesting additional solutions that people have been able to add as well. So the community are kind of really getting on board with that referendum. So that's just one part of it. We've got an online referendum, and the second part is obviously actually lobbying the local councils to put a voluntary ban on these things being sold in the retailers across North Devon. Now, we've written to all the parish clerks, so all the parishes right the way across North Devon, and to all the North Devon councillors, and to all the Torridge District councillors, and all the parishes on that side. And we've had an overwhelming, really positive response. We haven't had one negative response. Most of them have already said that they've kind of put it through their parishes. And last couple of weeks ago, I actually spoke at a North Devon Council meeting just to talk a bit more in depth about the project, to try and get a bit more momentum. That also went down really well. And the hope is that if this kind of pays off and we manage to, and this goes quite well, that maybe this is something that we can start thinking about doing a bit more of, you know, as a local group and as a local community. I think it's trying to understand the power that we have when we kind of pull together. And, you know, and if we can lobby this sort of thing locally, what else could we do a bit more locally? And we know that the government, with the 25-year environment plan, is rolling out lots of different bans and all sorts of things on single-use plastics, but some of it isn't always quick enough, and it doesn't always answer our problems in North Devon. And I think we just need to be able to, as a group and as a community, be able to pick the holes and pick our fight where we can move things forward a little bit faster. And then just this was a really unexpected spanner in the works for us during this lockdown, and that was the nappy spill, which some of you might have obviously seen. We helped to kind of coordinate some of the action that was going on the ground. Some of the social media reach that we got on these was between, like, I think we got 100,000 reach between a few of the posts that we did over 3 days. Thousands of shares, people on the ground sharing what they picked up. So there was a real, it was probably one of the most positive posts, not positive, but one of the most widely shared things that we've ever done on our social media. And it just really showed for us the power in social media on certain projects and things. And when it comes to clearing up the environment, and when things are being scattered there, when people don't want them there, it kind of really it got the public's attention for sure, and it definitely galvanized a lot of action, which was super positive. Obviously not so positive for the environment. We're still finding them being washed up on our beaches, but there's been top efforts by the National Trust, especially Northern Boroughs over at Torridge District Council, North Devon Council, all kind of pulled together to get this stuff off our beaches, and it was it was quite amazing. Our holiday project, we still managed to roll out this year during COVID. Anne-Marie, who's been leading on this project, my kind of other half, she, my other half actually, literally my other plastic-free North Devon, my plastic-free North Devon wife, she managed to get this all online. So we didn't print any leaflets this year, and we just delivered it online. So we had a page on our website where holiday accommodation and B&B people could go and download the resources that they needed, that they wanted to be able to send out to their guests. So that worked really well. We still had, I think we had an additional 40 sign up to the I think the 100 that we had the last 2 years combined. So that was super positive. We are trying to host a focus group to see how we best roll this out next year with kind of most impact. So watch this space. I think this has been really focused on raising awareness to the people that actually come to North Devon, but actually what we want to focus on now, or at least as a sideline to it, is to actually be working with the holiday homes themselves to actually look at what they're doing in their holiday homes. So are the holiday homes and the B&B plastic free? Are they reducing their single-use plastic? And I know, I think Holly's on the call there. I know she's kind of does a lot. One of the volunteers that we've got on board here today, she does a lot of kind of volunteering not volunteering, cleaning and working in holiday homes and things like that over the summer. And she's really keen to kind of help us develop a bit of a toolkit that maybe we can roll out. So it's kind of a two-pronged approach. The other thing that we did, some of you might have seen these in and around Tesco. So we launched the Don't Even Think About It littering campaign, which I think we got some inspiration from a campaign over in New Zealand. And we actually worked with the local Braunton Tesco here to roll these posters out right the way across their store, across items that were being kind of commonly littered. So obviously you'll remember when lockdown 1 lifted, we went from having this very peaceful, clean, lovely environment to all of a sudden having hordes of people here and lots of littering occurring, bins being full, but people still dumping litter. And it was a real issue, and it probably will be an issue going into this summer as well. So one of the things that we came up with, because we obviously still couldn't go out and do events, but was trying to still kind of think of ways to engage and engage people and actually have an impact in North Devon. So we came up with a poster campaign. So did it in Braunton, and we also worked with North Devon Council on something similar. So these sort of posters, but these are, we've just been a bit slow with the council. I won't blame them because Robbie's here. But yeah, we kind of had that. We've been working with the council since probably May or June on this to try and get this delivered right the way across North Devon. So bus stops, parish notice boards, this kind of on hold now until next summer, but they have offered to fund the distribution of these posters. So again, spreading the message and using the campaign prong of protect our playground. Apparently we've got to change the don't be a toss a bit there. Apparently one of the councillors doesn't like it. It's a bit of a shame. And the other thing that we got creative on, well, not me personally, but Andy, because he's too clever, is he developed a COVID-friendly water bar. Now, I did say at the beginning, one of our 2019 goals was to work with lots more events. In terms of actually reducing their single-use plastic, so not just going and raising awareness, actually working with them in the run-up to reduce their single-use plastic. And obviously we weren't able to do that, mainly because events weren't running, but some of them did run. The Croyd Ocean Triathlon did manage to go ahead, which is amazing for them, and we were able to build this plastic-free water bar, so they were still able to carry on with their kind of plastic-free ethos and not give out any single-use plastic at their event this year, which is phenomenal. And then we also worked with the North Devon Coast AOMB, and they also use this bar, and I think they've saved 1,600 plastic bottles and 14,000 cups over the last 2 years from working with us. So theirs has been a bit of more of a two-year stage. They worked at this year. Last year I think they were still giving out cups to fill up the water, but this year they gave everyone, you can probably see in that picture, one of those little clip-on cups, so it avoided any giving out any cups, which is amazing for them. And then the other thing we've been doing is we've been really trying to push is working proactively with businesses and trying to create a more sustainable North Devon by actively going out there, helping them audit their business and giving inspiration and ideas about what other businesses are doing. So the first thing, we've already talked about the Business Supporters Club. So that's actually just trying to get financial support for North Devon, for us as a charity, but also when people sign up as a business supporter, we'll do a little audit, we'll publicise what they're doing and share whatever practice they're doing. They also get a place on our website. And then in order to take that a little bit further, this year, at the end of this year, because everyone's going online, and I thought, no one's not seeing my face enough, so I need to get on there. And we developed the business bites, which basically we've done, I think we're on about our 5th one now. I think we've only publicised 3 so far. But this is kind of one-to-one chats with businesses that are kind of not just talking the talk, but actually walking the walk in North Devon. Because what we kind of discussed, we were talking about developing how we work with businesses more. So do we develop another like certificate or program for people to reduce their plastic and become more sustainable? Because obviously there's lots of other tools and things out there at the moment. So we were quite conscious of recreating the wheel. So although we are still building, we are still building our auditing kind of help with businesses, we decided not to create another award at all. And actually what we are going to be delivering and developing is kind of inspirational education within businesses, and then helping them to actually audit their businesses using different kinds of tools. But we won't be giving out any awards. We'll leave that to the bigger charities. And also the Biosphere, because we work really closely with, have developed their own business charter, and one of the aims of the business charter is to reduce single-use plastic and look at waste, and for that they can come to us and get help. So we're kind of linking in with the charter a bit more on that as well. And then the other thing that we still deliver is obviously the Plastic Free Communities Approved programme. The Plastic Free North Devon still runs kind of the Plastic Free Braunton and Plastic Free Croyd side of things. So we still sign off businesses that have given up the 3 single-use plastics, which is the requirement for that award. But again, what we found with that award, although it's been brilliant, it's very much focused on smaller kind of cafe-like businesses. But actually North Devon is kind of, there are manufacturers and bigger organisations. And actually when you're thinking about some of the impact of these organisations, we wanted to focus a bit more on those bigger businesses and how we can support and encourage them. And just the other thing, I haven't got a picture up for this, but one of the other things that we did early on in the first lockdown was we developed a directory on our website. And every day throughout lockdown, when we were trying to work out how we could support the community, we decided to completely focus on businesses, because businesses seem to be doing amazing things for supporting the community, delivering, putting their stuff online, going well over and above, and we wanted to shine a bit of a light on that. So that's what we did. I think we ran probably 60 days of a business every day, and what we did with that information is we then put it all on our website. So now if someone's looking for a fruit and veg or local butchers, they can just go to our website and find that information. And that information will keep staying there. And that was kind of our Look Local campaign. And I suppose the Business Bites is a kind of development of that campaign. And just recently, you might have seen this as well, we launched our t-shirts, and again, something that we kind of really struggled with whether we should do or not, because Plastic Free North Devon has always been very much about reducing your impact. We try to encourage people not to buy things that they don't need, but we had this opportunity to co-create with some local artists, and it was good for them and good for us, in terms of, we thought if as long as we're using a really reputable product and source. So all of our t-shirts are sourced, they're all organically sourced, and we go through a company called Team Mill that are based over in Jersey that kind of do all the kind of ordering and posting out for us as well. We're kind of a middleman in that sense. So that's been really easy for us, and it's just another way of us trying to generate a little bit of income for Plastic Free North Devon, because we have to, Pickwell Foundation aren't going to support us forever. So one of the main, I've been told over, I've been whipped in the last 6 months, so I need to start thinking of other ways that how Plastic Free North Devon can sustain itself once Pickwell, if and when they do, they might not, hopefully, even if they're listening, are they there? Yeah, hopefully they won't, but if they do, it's just trying to think of other ways that we can maintain the level of activity. So these are all contributing to how we're building that up. And they're amazing t-shirts, so I'm sure you've great Christmas presents for everyone. And some amazing artists have contributed to the design, so it's thank you to them. So I feel like I'm really jumbling on. And then just the last few things that we've done as well. We've delivered, in September, Andy delivered, not me, I was on holiday, delivered PECTROC Employment Action Programme lectures in September. So that was 5 lectures on the sustainability to 100 Year 12 students that went down amazingly, all COVID friendly and socially distanced. And off the back of that, they went and did their own beach cleans and audits and submitted their data to Surfers Against Sewage and other national organisations off the back of that. We also managed to carry out 4 beach cleans and a parks clean during lockdown. I'm not sure quite how we managed that, but we did manage to squeeze them in. And we have recently secured funding to produce the 3 short wildlife 360 films for our VR Ocean Explorer project, which is aiming to try and expand the reach of that VR kit. So that's virtual reality. And the idea is that's going to be a really, really important tool for next year. Because as we go into next year, one of our main focuses is to kind of focus on the mission that I talked about earlier on, but also to really think about how we go into those communities that maybe aren't so connected with nature, the poorer communities across Northern Devon. So we're going to be trying to working with community groups, you know, North Devon Food Bank, Sunrise, and working with the council in particular to really try and pinpoint where our energy and enthusiasm might be best spent. Because what we've discovered is that, you know, and we always say it, like, you only protect what you love. And some people don't actually get the chance to fall in love with the water or the environment, and don't have that connection that maybe some of us might do on this call. And I think, you know, in North Devon, this is about bringing everyone along with us. You know, I don't want people to feel like they can't be part of this movement because they can't afford to go to a refill store, or they don't get to go surfing at the weekends because their parents haven't got a car. You know, we need to find a way of connecting everybody to this mission that we have. And the VR kit and our education is very much going to focus on those areas next year. So what's next? I've kind of started talking about that, but our main objectives are, again, to reduce the amount of plastic coming into North Devon, ensure that plastic waste gets into the appropriate waste stream, so starting to develop a bit more of a circular economy, and removing waste and plastic pollution from our environment. And all of this is underpinned by the education. That's what I was just talking about. That education needs to reach more people and raise awareness of the importance of nature and the threats that are posed, and to encourage everyone to be part of that movement. Sorry, this is a really annoying, a bit wordy slide, but it is my last wordy slide. So what's next in terms of how we're actually going to deliver those aims? So one of the main things that we want to be doing is supporting sustainable business models. So we've had some really exciting conversations with the police, Devon and Mid, I think they're called, to develop more sustainable business practices right the way throughout their stations. So we're working with some of their environmental kind of warriors or ambassadors that they've managed to galvanise in their team to try and audit. So at the moment we're sending them off with a scanning document over the next couple of days. So they're going to be auditing all of their offices and then coming back to us, and we're going to be helping them to create a plan and to implement that in their stations. Because like most things and big business, or kind of when you're thinking about bigger organizations, there's lots going on at head office, like, you know, making the whole fleet electric, or you know, looking at how they're investing, but actually they might be missing the fact that in those stations they still haven't got recycling, or people are still being given plastic water bottles when they're going out on patrol. So there's lots of little bits that are being missed by that kind of bigger mission, and the idea and drive by the people that we're working with on the kind of the grassroots stuff is to kind of really look at what the easy wins are in those stations. And we're also working with a few other businesses to look at that development of those. And the idea of this is that Plastic Free North, we're not going to be charging any sort of consultancy fee for this kind of offering, but we are going to be asking for donations. We don't want to not work with a business because they can't afford to pay us, but it is something that takes a lot of resource. And I think we need to kind of value the product that we're offering, and I suppose that the expertise that we're offering, but not to the detriment of actually being able to deliver on our mission. So there's just a really fine balancing act. And I know I'll get my wrist slaps for doing things for nothing, or committing to things, but that's why Plastic Free North Devon is where it is today, because people have gone over and above and beyond every step of the way over the last 3 years. So unfortunately, Lynn, I'm probably not going to just stick to my hours. So anyway, carrying on from that, so expanding the Protect Our Playground project, and we're going to keep doing this through our belly board scheme. So like I said earlier, we're going to be looking to partner up with other North Devon surf hire businesses and develop new wooden bodyboard designs with time warp, because a bit of the feedback this year was they weren't quite wide enough or not short enough, or they didn't have a leash. So just looking at some other options, and like I said, trying to develop a way of a model where we can hire some of those out for free. We're just trying to figure out the logistics of that and how that might work. The toy swap beach huts, which was a reusable beach toys project, which completely got put, which was supposed to roll out this year, which obviously got put on hold because people don't want to be touching things that other people have been touching. And this is still very much on the case, very much on the fence whether this will go ahead next year, because of obviously COVID still being very much on kind of here. But the Beach Ambassador program that I talked about earlier and the Ocean Explorer VR kit is very much going to be the focus of what I was talking about. So we will still be engaging with events and holiday resorts and visitor hotspots. We still will be going to those places, but our focus will be on those kind of more inland, more deprived communities. And to deliver that program, we're going to be looking to get funding to develop the specific volunteers, so Ocean Explorer volunteers, leaders and assistants to deliver that project. So that will be looking for people that are maybe interested in getting involved in conservation or environmental work. We've had heaps of young people get in touch recently, you know, lots of people that should be on their gap years this year and probably next year that are going to be maybe not be able to do it again. So lots of energy and passion there, and I think it's just really important that we build and capitalize on the energy out there rather than, you know, feeling like that we need to be delivering it all. It's about building the team, and that kind of goes hand in hand with actually building our general volunteer network. I think with COVID really knocked us on our kind of on the side with this one, because one of our main focuses this year was to really build that network and to communicate with volunteers, kind of to be a bit more eyes and ears on our ground, to link in more with our campaigns, and create a bit more of a ripple effect across North Devon. So over the next couple of weeks, I will be setting up a kind of a communication network of being able to communicate with those people a bit easier on social media. And we're just going to start off small with a group of like 15 to 20 people, and we'll look at how we can build that. But I think first we just need to build the evidence of how beneficial it is to kind of have a stronger volunteer network that you communicate with on a regular basis. So look out for that. We are going to be continuing to maintain our online profile, so educate, share ideas, best practice, support other organisations and reach a wider audience. Something that we have realised with social media, especially when I had 3 weeks off in Scotland and then I came back and I really struggled to get back into, really found it quite hard to understand where Plastic Free North Devon space was in that kind of social world where everything suddenly had gone online. And, you know, a lot of what we do is done by bigger organisations that are national, that have a lot, you know, they have more people employed, they have better communication, they have more people working on that sort of stuff. So we have really taken a kind of a deliberate approach in the sense that rather than maybe kind of preaching about the more general plastic free tips and campaigns, we're kind of taking our foot off the gas in that respect and really trying to focus on the USP point of Plastic Free North Devon, and that is the action that's going on locally and what we can do locally. So leaving kind of, you know, plastic free tips up to the bigger organisations to kind of roll out, and really trying to focus on the action that we're doing here and what we're delivering. So I'm starting to waffle now, I'm nearly there. And campaigning, so we, like I said, we've started to try our hand at a bit of lobbying this year, and we're really going to hope to build on that momentum, and look at other options for other voluntary bans on single-use plastics as we go forward. We are going to support event organisers to reduce environmental impact, so we'll really be looking to do that this year, because hopefully, fingers crossed, things will be kind of starting to go ahead. Like I said, we aimed for 5 last year, but COVID hit, so hopefully we'll be able to definitely roll that out for next year. Some of you might know that we ran and were part of the North Devon Plastic Free Consortium, which was an organisation that was set off about 2 years ago, with lots of other organisations in North Devon. We drew up a massive strategy and worked really well together for quite some time, but realised that we needed quite a bit of funding to coordinate the activity. We applied for a big pot of funding, and a lot of energy went into applying for that, and unfortunately we didn't get that funding, and we invested a lot of time and energy into that, but yeah, obviously we didn't get it. So what we're trying to do with the Plastic Free North Devon consortium is and that kind of happened all during COVID as well, so that's kind of been bubbling but not so bubbling. So the idea is to really try and reinvigorate that next year, as soon as the kind of Christmas is over, to really kind of galvanize on the resource that we have between us and how we can work with each other a bit more collaboratively without having to apply for massive pots of funding. Because what we did find was, you know, working with one or two organisations on funding bids is actually really is much easier, and it kind of has a bigger impact and it's easier to manage. But when you start bringing 4 or 5 organisations in, it was a big lesson for us, and we were new, and we were going to be the biggest beneficiaries of that fund. So it was a real knock when we didn't get it, and a massive learning curve. But yeah, still so much potential in that consortium, especially when we start to link in with carbon and climate as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that will be up and running again next year. And then, like I said as well, is building the volunteer work to really amplify and capitalise on the energy that's out there. You know, we know that, you know, I've had several people contact us, how do we get more employed Plastic Free North Devon, how do you communicate? And, you know, we do have a volunteer network, and we do communicate via email when events and stuff have been coming up. But obviously with COVID, there hasn't been much to get involved with. I can't have people in the office with me helping. So yeah, January, we're going to build that back up and really start trying to push that one. So that's it for kind of what we've been up to. Sorry, that was a really long, exhaustive list. And then the really most exciting thing that we've got up and coming is this kind of, it's called Cleanse and Clean. So this kind of started off as a bit of we've never really had a big fundraiser. And I've always, again, like I said, not very good at asking for money ever. But we had this idea to encourage people to cleanse and clean during January. And the idea is this kind of in 2 parts. So we're going to be having Cleanse and Clean, organised public cleans, where we're going to be working with other community groups like Plastic Free Barnstable, Plastic Free Willicombe, Plastic Free Torrid, maybe, to have a clean every weekend in January. Just a public clean, so inviting the public along. And the idea is that you kind of, being in nature, maybe you'll go for a swim, or you'll walk before, or maybe you'll jog before, whatever. But the idea is that we're out, we're cleansing in the nature, and then we're kind of cleaning it up. So that's kind of the ethos behind it. So that's the public facing bit. And then the other idea, the other part to it is kind of the individual cleanse and clean movement, which we're going to be encouraging, kind of a bit like just encouraging people to be out and about. So if they're out jogging or swimming, or they've gone for a sea swim, or they've gone for a surf, to make sure that they clean up after themselves. And the idea is that when they're cleansing and cleaning, that they might think about donating to Plastic Free as well. So we've got some interesting graphics and stuff that we'll be sharing across our media to encourage that sort of activity. We're not too hopeful about how much we'll raise, because I think people will probably be a bit over giving money once Christmas is over. But it's a way of, first and foremost, it's a way of kicking January off the way that we mean to go on, and that is being out in nature and cleaning up the environment. And the second thing is building our community back up, being with people that care about what we're doing, and feeding off each other. And we're going to actually be launching it, so you're all invited. On the 28th, we're going to be having a bit of a private event, just with our core supporters, volunteers, and anyone that's on this call. On the 28th, we're going to be setting off from Croyd. We're going to be doing a bit of a beach clean along Croyd. Then we're going to be walking around the coast path. We're going to have a little clean at Saunton, and then have a dip in the sea. No money exchange hands at all for that. That's just for us to have a bit of a kind of socially distanced social, and to kind of enjoy a bit of Christmas in a way that we all like to do, which is mainly on the beach, cleaning up other people's crap and getting in the sea. So yeah, trying to do that, raise a bit of money, and just get people back together. So that's up and coming. So you're all invited. 28th, put it in the diary. And that's me. This is actually a picture from my Plastic Free Barnstable group, the clean we did a couple of years ago. But yeah, thanks for listening. If you need to look at anything that we're doing, our website's below. We're on Facebook, Twitter, on LinkedIn, really trying to build that up as well. So if any of you are business people, then follow us on LinkedIn and get sharing what we're doing. And thanks for listening.
Claire, thank you so much. Even though I know everything that's been done, it still just astounds me what we as an organisation and you as individuals are delivering with really very minimal financial support. I am incredibly proud of each and every one of you. And I actually, you know, I think you got emotional, but looking across the screen, everyone is emotional as well. So collective hugs to you. And, you know, particularly, as I said, you, Anne-Marie, Andy, Lynn are just phenomenal. So thank you. I think the kind of COVID legacy is going to be a really interesting challenge next year. People are frightened, and I think what will be interesting after the vaccine is how much of this kind of obsession with cleanliness persists, and how much work we're going to have to do to get people to become confident again, not just with contact with each other, but contact with reusable cups and sharing items. And I think hopefully from a medical point of view, we'll bring the evidence that humans need a bit of dirt. You know, we're mostly made up of bacteria and viruses, and if we get rid of all of them, it's going to be bad for our health. So interesting times. Anyway, does anyone have any questions for Claire or the trustees or the wider Plastic Free team? I'm just going to, yeah, I can see everyone now. Coming to any of the other trustees, Andy, Hamish, Lynn, Anne-Marie, you can't say anything, unfortunately, because your microphone's broken. But does anyone have any kind of closing comments or things they want to share at this point?
Oh, thank you.
I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Claire and Anne-Marie for all their work over at that list.
Of course.
Like you say, we've talked about the things that have been going on over the last few months, but to actually see it listed there in one big thing is, you do go, wow, did COVID, as Hamish just said on a comment, did COVID even happen? That's a hell of a list of achievements for, you know, when in March we all went, oh my God, what are we going to do? So you guys have done an amazing job, and well done, and thank you from all of us to you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so it looks as though our first AGM has been a resounding success, and we can come to a close now. So just final thanks again to everyone for all the hard work behind the scenes. Have a fantastic Christmas and a COVID-free New Year, and let's hope that 2021 is going to be building on these amazing successes as we move forward. And yeah, thank you all very much for your time.
Can I just say one thing? Sorry.
Yeah.
If anyone is keen, Jules and I can see a few others that are in the room that have done quite a bit of volunteering and stuff from us before. If you are keen on being involved in what I'm going to call the PFND Action Group across North Devon, then yeah, just give me a quick email and I'll add you to the Facebook group. But there's no like, it's not, there's no specific thing that you have to help with. It will just be help with even just promoting campaigns when we need it, or maybe people getting to keep their eye out for places that need cleaning up, or maybe tackling a specific business or whatever. So don't feel like if you're on that group that you have to be doing something actively. It's more about yeah, kind of being our eyes and ears on the ground if we need information, or, you know, maybe you sit on a community group or a parish group, or, you know, for instance, the survey that we've just produced, if you're on a community group that you think would like to read that sort of stuff, then, you know, you're the eyes and ears on the ground. You can give that to that community. So it's just trying to kind of build out our web of people being involved in what we're doing and feeling like that they can do what we're doing and connect with what we're doing and share what we're doing a bit more easily. So we kind of create a bit more of a wave. So yeah, if you do want to join that, just give me a quick email or yeah, comment on there, and I'll add you in the next couple of days.
Jens, do you mind if I just say something quickly about the clean for the 30th of December that Anne-Marie's made a note of? We've had some exchanges on WhatsApp this morning, and we're currently thinking about maybe instead of doing a rock park clean, doing 2 or 3 sort of mini cleans around Barnstable, which also feels more sort of COVID related, if you're COVID appropriate as well. I just wonder whether there's any sort of as long as we've got enough sort of volunteers to help out and do, which I think we've got. I think we've got enough to do 3. Just want to sort of gauge whether there's any sort of plus or minus. I think my thinking was that we'd probably get people to take the rubbish home rather than try and arrange the council to pick up at multiple locations. But
on the Eventbrite, Martin, so you still kind of, it'd be good to kind of get people to register for it, but what we can do is we can create a heading, so we could have a meeting point at Rock Park, we could have a meeting point at, you know, at a road or wherever you want to meet, or a meeting point under the bridge, so people can actually specifically join up to that to that bit as well. So it can be the Barnstable Clean, but in that group we can have where the different meeting points are.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be quite a nice way to do it, actually, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Good idea.
Okay, so I think we've got sort of three areas that we've already sort of people have sort of said that there's a lot of rubbish at. So I think we've got those as starters and go from there. Great. Okay, thanks very much. We'll do that.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Any other business issues? Anyone want to do a kind of last kind of strictly dance off?
I just want to say I'm really sorry for getting emotional about it was more that I felt a bit empowered by everyone sat in front of me. Yeah, a bit on the spot. I'm not actually really sad.
You're awesome. And yeah, I think it was, you don't have to apologize for anything, Claire. Know that. We love you. Right. Okay, guys. So that's it then. I think it's
just one thing.
Oh, who's that?
Here he goes.
No one's really thanked you, James, for all the work that you've done.
I haven't done anything.
Oh,
well,
sorry.
you start. Well, let's go back to November 2017 or 18. How old are we?
3.
Right. So November 2017. Who stood up at the Braunton Countryside Centre? Who motivated, started that fire, the kindling? You did, James. And I think your leadership and your vision and your crystallisation has helped greatly with the rest of us trying to work out our position.
Basically, I've talked and got everyone else to do the work, but I appreciate your kind comments, and I think everybody would agree with that. Is that not true? Apart from Phil.
Yeah, well, Phil, yeah, well.
Yeah.
Less said about Phil, the better, yeah?
There's the voice of reason there.
I know. Anyway, listen, thank you, Andrew, but everybody here has been absolutely instrumental in where we are now. And like I say, you know, like Claire got emotional, I could very easily get emotional. I'm just so super proud of what everyone's done. And we are so much more than the sum of our parts. Together we're, you know, I think we really have created something amazing. So thank you. Right, listen, we're done now. That's it. Finished.
Go get your haircut, James.
I'm struggling to get volume in it.
So am I.
Right, love you guys. See you all soon.
Bye, guys. Good to see you.
Cheers. Have a good Christmas if I don't see you before. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Martin. Thanks.